All right, what's up? Emerald Coast. Hey, welcome to today's show. It's Monday, April 27th, 2020. It's been a beautiful weekend.
It was a long week last week.
And
we covered a lot of stuff.
We're going to keep this as our theme for the week here because on Friday, May 1st,
5 days,
the beaches will be open in pretty much almost all the counties here in Northwest Florida.
Yes, and yeah, there's not much to say about that except be patient, people, and follow protocol between now and then at Home Depot and Lowe's at the gas station. And 5 days, and we'll get back to some normalcy. There's still a lot of questions to be answered. Just welcome to What's Up Emerald Coast. This, RJ, we started this to talk about, there was life pre-pandemic and how we've adapted during pandemic, and then life after pandemic, and then getting the beach back open up. We live here because of that sugar white sand.
Well, you may have thought we started it that way. I just thought it'd be cool to have a show that was daily and about stuff that's topical for the day that people can watch during lunchtime.
Pretty much,
so, That's why we're shooting it, and it's not going to be very
Logistics,
long. We're shooting for 20 minutes. I'm the tech guy. He's the recovering bar owner.
Speaking of bar owner,
speaking of which, yes.
Just speaking of bar owner, today,
that's Chris, I'm RJ.
The first piece of information I got out of the news today, and this is just a little public service announcement to be aware of your pandemic life, is that this is a recovering bar owner talking to you, and we're going to talk about my other recovering problem I had way back in. We got a specialist today. Okay, he's going to talk some seriously good sports today. I'm very excited.
That? Sports, maybe?
Sports.
Sports.
And I wish I'd known this guy back in the day when I did a lot of gambling. That would have been very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
But I found out today that at-home delivery of alcohol sales is up 240% over last year. So
240%.
Now I know a lot of that's because people don't want to get out and drive, but liquor stores are open and all. But and I just want to say to my friends out there to be be aware of your boundaries. We're going to get back to work here soon, and be conscious of what that number represents. I worry about a lot of my friends, RJ, and a lot of people out there. And hopefully we got a guest coming on in the near future, too, to talk a little bit about that. I was working on that.
As a matter of fact,
I worked over the weekend booking some people.
Yes.
I'm working on a live performer.
At the end of the week, we're going to have a great.
So as I say, stay rational, my friends. I mean it.
Hey, as always, I like to start off the day with what national holiday is today?
Reality comes back. What is today, RJ?
All right. Well, there's a couple of them.
Uh-oh.
One of them is kind of sports related.
Uh-oh.
I'll pull them up in the back there. Today happens to be the National Babe Ruth Day.
Fair enough. I can go with that. It's a good start to my day.
Yeah.
Little known fact, he was from Baltimore, so I'm an Oriole fan. I know he gets I guess he played for some other team, the Yankees or something. We'll confirm that with Jake a little later.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
National Babe Ruth Day.
Maybe Jake can find that.
I miss the days
we don't know about.
The days where a hot dog and a cigar while you're playing the game was just, that's what the newspaper guys were talking about. How can he do that?
Well, if you really want to take back a little bit.
Oh my God, what is that?
It's actually a Devil Dog Day. Now, how many people actually even remember what a
I know what that is, but did you like those things?
It's just like it.
I mean, that's
I think
clearly
Twinkies definitely had more over that.
Okay, I was more of a Suzy Q kind of guy, the cupcakes, but that's clearly done by the Devil Dog marketing company.
Ho-Hos were.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Ho-Hos. Yeah.
Ice cold chocolate milk.
Devil Dog Day. What else you got?
What else we got?
Today in pandemic life. I don't even know what that says yet, but I'm excited.
Actually, this kind of reminds me of tomorrow. But today is National Prime Rib Day.
Deal.
So
somebody would like to be the sponsor today. We will talk about you.
We'll talk about prime rib
all week long if you bring us a prime rib.
Right, exactly.
All day long.
And
got one more?
We got one more.
One more.
And
there we go. National
Prime Rib Day. About prime rib I was going to talk about, but do you have a story to tell? Gosh, every day.
That's a day?
That's a day.
That's every
day. Every day we have a story.
I mean, now
Everyone
we just go.
Has a story to tell.
Now we just say what happened was, and then we just go.
Maybe it should be like, have you found someone to tell a story to?
Oh, is anybody listening to you?
Think.
Yeah, I got a lot of people that have been telling me on social media that they don't want to listen to me, but boy, they keep telling me that every day, like they're listening to me.
Well, speaking of every day,
hey,
we probably couldn't do this show every day without a special thank you to the Northwest Florida Daily News because I read it every morning.
Yes.
And there's actually the paper has kind of gone out of, people going more digital, but I kind of still like the feel of turning the pages and being able to write in my Sudoku and something like that. But
we come in here and just go,
and we go,
what are we going to talk about
today?
And we want to talk about the Northwest Florida Daily News and what's happening, because that's what the Emerald Coast is.
As a matter of fact, today's front page is going to be our special guest for tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll save that for a little bit later. We'll talk about who that is.
People can go online.
We don't want to take away from our guest speaker right now.
Yeah, but people can go online or buy a paper to find out who we're talking to tomorrow.
We want to go ahead and thank Moz Coffee.
If they're watching the show, before you talk about Moz Coffee, maybe if the boys for tomorrow can make some prime rib, we can eat in the studio.
Hey.
Did they just give away what tomorrow is? Okay, good.
All right.
So Moz Coffee?
Moz Coffee, yes. We must go ahead and give a special thanks to Moz Coffee. They help us get through the show every single day.
They help us tolerate each other.
So, that was a picture of Sydney over there. They're right there next to the Buccaneer gift shop. And
right downtown.
6
days a week.
Yep.
8 a.m. to 2 p.m., 6 days a week.
All right. So, we were speaking about the Daily News before. And, right in the sports page.
Yep.
This weekend was all about the draft.
That was this weekend?
Who was the best?
That was this weekend?
Worst of all the class. That was this weekend.
Oh, it was this weekend?
So our special guest is kind of related to that.
Was there a draft?
It was a draft.
Did
there were some
anybody
very
actually...
interesting picks on that.
Did you actually watch it?
I saw some of it on Thursday night.
Did you see highlights?
And it was just kind of...
Hold on.
It was just different.
Highlights?
It was different.
Did you watch highlights of the Zoom draft on ESPN?
I did not.
That's where it's at.
All right, so that's your homework tonight. Go ahead.
So we've got an expert, though.
I got a guy.
I got a guy.
We got a segment called I Got a Guy.
Yeah.
And not only that,
it's usually our sponsor.
We got a guy because he knows a guy. I know the guy. He's actually been a commentator for me with the Raiders.
Yep.
And his name is Jake Mitchell.
Yep.
Jake also worked a little bit with Rob sometimes as well. But overall,
Rob
Brown.
Yes,
Rob Brown
the infamous
show.
Rob Brown, who is on a sports talk show and is our competition right
now. So he can't watch us because
he's watching us.
He watches us on commercial breaks.
He's watching us because he knows I can talk smack like he can. He just knows more details. But when it comes to the details, the intricacies of a team, because he does kind of lead you down the gambling path and knows spreads, in and outs, numbers. He knows what the hook is all about. Jake Mitchell.
Jake Mitchell. Hello. He's on. He's live. It's Jake Mitchell. How you doing, man?
What's up, Jake? How are you, buddy?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well. It's good to have some, not sports, but something sports related live that we just watched, and to be able to talk about that, it's feels different. All we've had so far in the last month and a half or so is WrestleMania. So it's been a weird couple months, but it's
Did I see that on Sports Center the other day as they were showing highlights of WWE as if it was a sport? We'll save that for another show.
Yeah.
I'm a wrestling guy. I'm never going to call it a sport, though. It's more physical than people give it credit for, but it is not a sport. But
they are athletic.
It's semantics.
It's a show.
They are very athletic.
They are athletic.
It's a show.
They are athletic.
A show.
Well, look, the real deal was this weekend. I can see your eyes are no longer bleeding from staring into your screen because that had to be the most bizarre, I think, for everybody. The only common factor for that draft was that it was uncommon. Yes. So out of that, give us some of your takes on both the process of the draft, some of the quirkiness you found to it, and then we'll talk about some teams at the end, and you're going to tell me how good a couple of our favorite teams are going to be.
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, the number one impression I got, and it's kind of a dual-edged sword, because I thought ESPN did a really good job of putting that together, because there's no telling what had to go on behind the scenes to get 32 teams connected, to get all those different draft rooms connected, the video. So I will give them credit for putting on the draft and giving us a sporting event of some sort to watch. There were aspects of the presentation, though, that everyone kind of called out immediately. It was the most notable one was almost 2 or 3 seconds after a guy would get drafted, you'd have the name, the position, what they did in college, and it was immediately the worst tragedy that's ever happened to them before. And it was pick after pick. So I understand filling the void of the live aspect and the interviews is tough, but that was simultaneously one of the happiest drafts and most depressing drafts ever, and that was only exacerbated by the fact that Goodell opened the draft by saying,
It's almost
"Hey
like
guys,
American
we
Idol
know you're
in some
stressed."
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. He said, "This is going to be an escape from everyday life." And then they spent 50% of the time talking about tragedies. They spent another 25% of the time talking about coronavirus. And I know they were raising funds for it, but still, man, a lot of that draft was spent talking about stuff that was pretty depressing. So it was a dual-edged sword of a draft.
Did it seem like they were building the soap opera that is the NFL? I mean, I give them a lot of credit. The marketing behind the NFL is pretty impressive as far as, there's Disney to me, and then there's the NFL. And they know how to make sure they stay in the limelight. And in that case, they're basically building a whole bunch of last dances for the future. So 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about all the people that were drafted in the pandemic draft. So, so what else did you notice?
Well, and you make a good point that, it's kind of about reaching the new fans. And I always say this when the halftime show gets announced. It's never Metallica, even though football fans like heavy music. Right. It's always something poppy because it's about getting a new audience. So, I understand the way it works and the way we already have football fans, so why not reach out to those other people? But still a frustrating aspect of the draft. But when we get to the actual picks, this was a very intriguing draft. It was kind of chalky. It was very, by the numbers early on, but even within that, you had a team like Miami, and to me, that was the biggest storyline of the draft. And they had convinced the world that they weren't going to take Tua Tagovailoa, that he was injured, that they didn't, like his hip, and that they were going to draft a tackle or draft another quarterback. And then at 5, they just sat there and they took him. So even within the draft, even it being a little predictable because there was, maybe a lack of information for teams, it was still a fascinating draft. And amidst all the real life circumstances around us, it was pretty fascinating to watch.
What else? What did you think about the? I'm a very humble and quiet Redskin fan. We'll come to them in a minute, but I'm a fan of the player that is Aaron Rodgers. And there was an immediate hoopla about them taking a quarterback right out of the blocks. And I had flashbacks to Aaron Rodgers as he came on board under a previous quarterback. It's eluding me, a Hall of Famer. Some guy that played for the Falcons, I think. Yeah. Very similar. Did you find that very strange as well?
It was an interesting decision to say the least. Trading up into the first round, the criticism was, and a lot of the discussion around it was, should the Packers take a skill position player to help Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. He's not fallen off yet. But in Green Bay, I think there's a preparation for the future, and that's where the Patriots, for example, that's what they ran into with Jimmy Garoppolo. It was this clash of, do we hold on to the franchise guy, the guy that, at a certain point, Brett Favre, didn't he feel like more than a football player? That guy was a character. That guy was an aspect of Green Bay culture. It wasn't just that he was a quarterback. And that's what Aaron Rodgers has become. Aaron Rodgers has done a similar thing. So logically, if you're the Packers, it makes sense to prepare for the future. But Aaron Rodgers can still play. And to me, I like Jordan Love. I think he's got a lot of upside. But he's not the quarterback that you say, all right, this is the hill we're dying on. And this is inevitably going to be the pick that, kind of puts the wedge between the organization and Aaron Rodgers, at least this regime, now that McCarthy gone.
You had me at they needed to pick a position player. The answer was yes. Yeah. That we could have just left it at that. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers has 5 years.
That's true.
Go.
Yeah.
And so I when I pulled up the stuff this morning, in my preparation 5 minutes before the show, I noticed that out of the headlines I saw, 4 out of 6 that I read real quick were all about that the Cowboys. As usual, I think that adds to the soap opera that is the NFL, that they are desperate to always want the Cowboys to be in the mix to be the Super Bowl contender. Did they? I know you were. I heard you once say you're a big on Lamb as a wide receiver. Did that make the? Did that get the Cowboys there, given that division? And
it's another weapon, and we saw how much better Dak Prescott got when they added Amari Cooper, from Oakland. When they added Cooper, that offense just opened up. I mean, I remember it was I believe the matchup against, was it the Saints during the regular season last year when Cooper was new, and there was a couple bombs in that game, and you were just like, man, we may have figured something out. So Jerry Jones was handling the draft alone. He's going to go flashy. CeeDee Lamb is the flashiest receiver in this draft. He is the most entertaining after-the-catch receiver in college football last year. And he's also just a great fundamental receiver. So they upgraded that offense. They added a weapon. Were there other places they could have gone? Yes, but to me it wasn't a bad pick. And I think it was a decision where, you weigh kind of the risk and reward, and you say, this guy, if he hits, is going to add just a completely different element to our offense. You mentioned the headlines. I thought they had a solid draft overall. There's always going to be more talk about the Cowboys than there needs to be, but it was a solid draft. It's not one I'm negative about. It's one I agree with you is maybe a little overhyped. Solid. Trayvon Diggs, a great defensive back from Alabama in the second round, and then they got Bradley Anae out of Utah late in the fifth round. He was a really good defensive end. So I liked their draft. It was a very good draft. Maybe doesn't warrant all the hype that you mentioned, though, Chris.
So out of all that, will anybody in the NFC East be better than 8-8 after their draft? That's said with love.
That's always the question. I think the Cowboys can be, and I think the Eagles can be. The Eagles last year suffered the most injuries in the NFL, and
they got a good backup in this draft, though.
Yeah.
They did, and I thought that was one of the more fascinating storylines in this draft is the fact that Carson Wentz has proven he can't stay healthy. So Jalen Hurts is going to get meaningful NFL action. It's not just going to be what we thought 2 years ago. Oh, Jalen Hurts, he's not a great passer. He's maybe going to be a tight end in the NFL or a running back. There was a lot of discussion about something like that where he's a gadget player. This is a guy that's going to get real time at quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles because when Carson Wentz goes down in Week 13, it's going to be Jalen Hurts down the stretch. It's just the way things have been in Philly. So Jalen's in a really interesting position.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be on the web if I couldn't say first hail to the Redskins to annoy everybody that watches the show. So is Chase Young exactly what I'm hoping for on that defense?
Oh, I think so. I love Chase Young. Chase Young is a freak athletically. He is the kind of defensive end that you had out of Ohio State the last 2 years in the two Bosa brothers. Except that Chase Young is just an athletic freak. The Bosa brothers were very athletic. Don't get me wrong. Chase Young is just the next evolution of that, though. And 4 years in a row, Washington has gone with a defensive lineman or somebody on the defensive front in the first round. 4 years in a row, they've gotten, I believe it was Jonathan Allen. I believe it was Deron Payne, both Alabama guys, now Chase Young. Washington is building a real identity. We can be critical of what they've done in the past for a long time, but Washington they're a physical football team up front. We know they could run the ball. That game last year against the 49ers in the monsoon where it was just, running the ball back and forth. They can do that. They can be a physical football team. To me, it's about shoring up now for Washington, the quarterback position.
Yeah, there you go. So in other words,
shoring up.
In other words,
and the ownership.
You pointed out that the Redskins will lose by the average score of 10-3 just about every week.
Yeah.
So let's finish this out.
That sounds about right.
Let's finish this out with the two teams. Your conference, RJ over here is a quiet and humble Saints fan. We'll get to that in other announcement that wasn't really a draft. That's his only requirement during this segment is just to say
who dat.
There you go. And but just tell me in your division, you're a Falcons fan, and is anybody going to beat the Tampa Brady Gronkaneers? Will anybody beat that team? Didn't they get a running back? They got a stout defense. Is it going to be every Patriot, Cowboy, Saints fans' miserable season because of those maneuvers prior to the draft? You could take some time to think about that.
Yeah, he doesn't like to stir up controversy at all.
I think. I'm aware of that. I think Tampa is such an interesting team because Tom Brady in New England. Now, he didn't have any weapons last year.
Right.
He didn't have much around him. So, sure, he didn't look great. I mean, he's 40 plus. We know he's not that athletic anymore. But is he still capable of running an offense at a Super Bowl level? With weapons, he might be. So, and I'm not going to be the guy that says Brady's done, because aside from last year, he's been proving us wrong year after year after year. If I bet for Brady and I lose 2 or 3 times out of 10, then I'm still in the green, so I'll take it. But Tampa's interesting. Gronk is coming back, and I think that decision kind of made it clear that those guys were kind of tired of Bill Belichick and tired of dealing with the strictness that exists in New England. And it's for some people, it's not for others, and it's not for you if you're an aging NFL player who's kind of riding out the end of your career. As far as beating the Buccaneers, I still think the Saints are probably the best football team in the division. The Buccaneers have obviously upgraded massively. The Falcons, I think,
as a backup.
Yeah, that is now maybe the.
Did that make them better or worse?
I want to say best backup in the league, but he's also. I saw this stat. He's thrown more passes to Saints players than Taysom Hill has.
There you go. Thank you very much. We'll be here all night. Bam.
So, is he? He's capable of coming into a game and winning it for you. He's also capable of coming in and losing it for you. If you've got 5 weeks without Drew Brees again, I feel a lot more comfortable in Jameis than I do in Taysom Hill if I'm the Saints, and so that's kind of the decision that you have to make. I think Taysom Hill is not the future guy, even though that's kind of been the narrative that New Orleans has tried to push. But don't forget Carolina and Matt Rule, and they drafted Derek Brown. They got a couple of great pass rushers. They got Gross Matos out of Penn State. The AFC West will be the most fun division in the league with all those receivers in Kansas City and Oakland and so on. The NFC South is going to be the weirdest division because it's Tom Brady as a buck against the Saints with Jameis Winston as a backup, and the Falcons are the Falcons. They're always weird and unpredictable. So the NFC South will be the most intriguing division in the NFL. As far as best division in the NFL, this draft just set up so many interesting storylines. It's really tough to pinpoint a lot of the places in the NFL where, you're going to have, a lot of change just because there was so much that happened in this draft. And Cam Newton's not even signed, so we don't know where Cam Newton's going to end up yet.
Hey, Jake, I got one last thing for you, and I know you're a gambling man. At least you're to promote which direction I should be betting over, under, or whatever. So if we have you, thank you very much for being on the show today. This is fantastic. It was
no problem, man. It's been a
welcome
blast.
Relief to some bringing us back to normalcy. Your conversation truly is the mission of this show. But to have you back in the future, can you predict? Would you make a prediction of what sporting topic will we be talking about? The draft was an easy one. So what do you think you would be back to talk about? What will happen? I mean, NASCAR is socially distancing when they stay in the car.
Yeah, that's a blind spot for me though in terms of the NASCAR.
I wanted you to make a pick so I could put some odds on it and just go toe to toe with you right here.
I think we could. Are you an MJ guy?
I am.
Because we can always do MJ LeBron on the next show.
Fair enough.
As if that one's not tired enough. I mean, The Last Dance is the other closest thing we've got to sports right now. I haven't seen the 2 episodes from last night though, so I've got fresh. So
you come back and we'll do a review. Today. We'll do a review of The Last Dance. That'll be fantastic. Now that's some real sports talk in pandemic life.
And hey, we know that MJ LeBron that argument's never been done before, so we're just going to revolutionize sports media here in the next couple weeks, aren't we?
Jake, thank you
and we'll
so
have
much.
him commentate. Seeing you on that headset just reminds me of the games we did over at Northwest Florida for the Raiders and all that, and you did a fantastic job. I mean, when we had the state finals over there for the Florida State Finals, you and working, it was great having you doing all the play-by-play and all that. So I want to thank you for that. Also want to let everybody else know that you do also do a daily post. What would you call it? Articles for two websites. One of them is the Sports Blitz. So Saturday Blitz.
Come on, somebody get it. You got it, RJ.
Right. Yeah. It's a couple websites. All right, for one of them is Saturday Blitz. That's a college football website, and then which right now it's a lot of speculation about the season, looking forward, seeing if maybe we'll have a season. I did an article last week about Dabo Swinney and Mike Gundy saying just forget public health, basically forget the health of our players. We want to play football right now. So there's a lot of that going on, and covering all that at SaturdayBlitz.com as well as SportsBettingDime.com is where I do all the gambling stuff. There's a little less of that going on now because there's less to gamble on.
Talk about, yeah.
Right now, you're only betting on whether or not the sport's going to exist at all this year.
Yeah, or how many fans? How many fans will be actually in the stadium?
Yeah, over under on number of people opening day of baseball. How about that? Over under number of fans in the stands.
A couple weeks ago, it was all about the action on the 2K Players Tournament, which was the NBA players playing the video game.
So we gotta go. No talking about 2K players.
Yeah, it's all going to be all the esports. That's it.
We are not.
All the athletes on their Xbox
reviewing 2K Sports, Jake. That's not going to happen, man. I appreciate you being on here today, buddy. That's fantastic. We're out of time.
It's been great. Thank you very much, Jake. Jake Mitchell, my friend, great sports writer, great commentator, play-by-play.
2K
and we hope
Sports.
To do a lot more here in the future, and we're going to bring you back on for more sports stuff in the future. All right.
All right.
You take care, Jake.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Thank you very much, you guys, and thank you very much. I just want to say, RJ, thank you very much for making me a part of Emerald Coast TV, reaching out to me. It's been a blast doing all those games and talking with you guys on here. So it's been fun to be a part of this venture in the last few months, and I'm ready for the world to come back so we can maybe do some more basketball next year, some baseball, so on and so forth. So it's good to talk to you guys.
I bet you
anything.
You'll do play-by-play of tennis right now.
Yeah, we'll do play-by-play with marble racing.
Oh, tennis is
great.
I
racing.
love tennis. I'll call electric football right now. I'll do anything.
That's fantastic.
All right.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right,
Thanks,
Emerald Coast. That's today, Monday. At least we got something a little different than when the beach is open, although that's the biggest deal.
Yeah,
and what restaurant?
A little different to think about.
We got big plans this week, RJ. We got some chefs coming on this week. We got some city council people coming on. Almost like we're legit.
Almost.
We're getting there.
We got the car running, and now we're just picking up passengers.
Keep on going. Hey, everybody out there, stay rational today. It's Monday, and take it easy and enjoy your day. We'll hope to see you tomorrow.
Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Ooh. Break loose. Nice work.